He really is getting worse, bad at the job. Now, we know he's incompetent. We know he lies. He also seems to have contempt, a lack of respect for us, for the country. I really see that. Now, it's very apparent whenever Afghanistan comes up. Our horrible and humiliating loss in Afghanistan, which is his responsibility. Now, this week, there was a pretty devastating report from the Pentagon, as reported by the Washington Post, about all the screw-ups over there and how much the Biden administration was responsible. Now, Lester Holt sat down with Joe for a big interview leading up to the Super Bowl. Most of it will be played at the Super Bowl. It came up. Joe couldn't keep anything straight in his head.
It wasn't just 2,000, 4,000. We would have to significantly increase the number of troops, and we were back in this war of attrition. And there was no way we were ever going to unite Ukraine. I mean, excuse me, Iraq, Afghanistan. No way that was going to happen.
No, that's not old age. That's Joe. He's always been like that. He had to drop out of his first presidential campaign because he could not control the way he spoke. He had to deal with it back when he was 45 years old.
Do you feel you're able to control, to put it in the vernacular, your mouth, that you can think before you talk?
Well, I've been in this business for 15 years. I let my record of 15 years versus the transgression that you're referring to stand, and you all can make that judgment. I feel very capable of using my mouth in sync with my mind.
We got a big problem with this guy, a big problem. So I mentioned that Washington Post report. Yes, it's devastating, outlining all of the mistakes, the frustrations the military had with the White House as it screwed this thing up from top to bottom. Joe seems in total denial about the whole thing. Denial and also, again, the dishonesty. You can feel it.
I have to draw your attention to that Army report, an investigative report that's come out about the lead up to the withdrawal from Afghanistan. It interviewed many military officials and officers who said the administration ignored the handwriting on the wall. Another described trying to get folks in the embassy ready to evacuate, encountering people who were essentially in denial of this situation. Does any of that ring true to you?
No. That's not what I was told.
That you were told that the U.S. administration officials were prepared, they knew it was time to get out?
No, what I was told, no one told me that, look, there was no good time to get out. But if we had not gotten out...
And then he goes to a bunch of gibberish, which he's said before. I think the lie detector test would be going off the charts just for changing the tone. No. And then this is, to me, very obvious that he's lying.
I just want to clarify, are you rejecting the conclusions or the accounts that are in this Army report?
Yes, I am.
So they're not true?
I'm rejecting them.
That's dishonesty. There's something fundamentally wrong with this man. I'm sorry. And it was a roadmap back when he ran for president. I'll show you again. He was caught lying about everything that ever happened to him prior to the age of 25. Listen.
What law school did you attend, and where did you place in that class? And the other question is, could you quickly, I think
I probably have a much higher IQ than you do, I suspect. I went to law school on a full academic scholarship, the only one in my class to have a full academic scholarship. In the first year in law school, I decided I didn't want to be in law school and ended up in the bottom 2/3 of my class, and then decided I wanted to stay, went back to law school, and in fact ended up in the top half of my class. I won the international moot court competition. I was the outstanding student in the political science department at the end of my year. I graduated with 3 degrees from undergraduate school and 165 credits, only need 123 credits, and I'd be delighted to sit down and compare my IQ to yours if you'd like, Frank.
1 degree, not 3. No international moot court trophy, no honors, no scholarship. All of that were lies. And if you will lie about the small things, you will lie about Afghanistan. You will. Now, more about the interview, which we'll see on Sunday if you watch the Super Bowl, and I'll have some thoughts about that. in a little bit. I woke up today and I saw headlines all over the place. Ooh, Joe called the reporter a wise guy. Biden snaps at wise guy Lester Holt. Wow, I gotta see this. Sounds like fireworks, doesn't it? I mean, reads that way. No, it was nothing.
Back in July, you said inflation was going to be temporary. I think a lot of Americans are wondering what your definition of temporary is.
Well, you're being a wise guy with me a little bit, and I understand that's your job.
Ooh, what fireworks, huh? What was more interesting was his totally out of touch, probably dishonest, maybe just kind of a dumb explanation of why we're seeing record inflation. No mention of the extra trillions of dollars rolling around the economy. This is what he said.
Let's look at the reason for the inflation. The reason for the inflation is the supply chains were cut off, meaning that the products, for example, automobiles, the lack of computer chips to be able to build those automobiles so they could function, they need those computer chips. They were not available. So what happens? With the number of cars were reduced, the new cars were reduced, it made up at one point 1/3 the cost of inflation because the price of automobiles were up. So what I did when I went out and made sure we started to make those domestically, we got Intel to come in and provide $20 billion to build a new facility. A number of organizations are doing the same kinds of things.
It really is just gibberish at this point, isn't it? Now, I haven't seen the whole interview. It's not available yet. It will be on Super Bowl Sunday. And I have a feeling January 6th is going to come up. And Joe will once again try to portray this as the worst thing that ever happened to our democracy. And as you know, the left, they've been trying to seize more power. And so is big tech. This being the biggest threat, they've got to push back. They got to fight all of those white supremacists, right? Which is a total lie, by the way. It reminded me of something. And actually, somebody who knows history better than I do pointed out that Hitler, yes, Adolf Hitler, tried, believe it or not, a similar trick, okay? Using an event as a pretext for more power, as the left is doing right now with January 6th. There was something called the Reichstag fire in 1933, I believe. The Parliament was set ablaze. Now, Hitler was only in power for a little while at this point. He did not have a majority in the Parliament. Less than 40%, I think, were made up of Nazis. He wanted more power. So they used this as an excuse. They said, this is a communist revolt. We've got communists here in Germany. We need more power to counteract them. Yes, we need to clamp down. In fact, Hitler wanted to be made the dictator, and he actually made it happen as a result of this fire. They call it the Reichstag Decree. The suspended key civil liberties used as legal basis for imprisonment of opponents to the Nazi Party led to Enabling Act of 1933, and the government under Hitler became a dictatorship. Does that make sense?